In the previous video, if you haven't watched it, go watch it now, we saw the phonemes that make up Japanese phonology, that is, the collection of phonemes existing in a language. Today we'll take a look at how those phonemes are translated into writing. Japanese has 3 writing systems: Hiragana, Katakana, and Kanji. The difference between Kana and Kanji is quite simple. Kana are phonemic syllabaries. Each kana in the Gojuuon is equivalent to a phoneme or combination of phonemes. They don't have inherent meaning. They're used mainly to write out pronunciation, but they also possess other grammatical or semantic functions that we'll see later. Kanji are logograms. They carry inherent meaning. All Japanese writing systems have a set of guidelines which dictate the stroke order to follow. Now, why having a stroke order at all? Legibility, mnemonics, and calligraphy. The general direction of writing is left to right and top to bottom. The first stroke is the leftmost or topmost, and then next ones are again the leftmost or topmost, so on and so forth. Exceptions are Hiragana se, ya, yo, and Katakana hi. If a simple horizontal line cuts through a simple vertical line, it is written first, except the horizontal lines in Hiragana mo, wa, re, and ne. All single stroke curves are written top to bottom, except the Katakana shi, n. The Gojuuon is a table with 5 columns and 10 rows, plus an extra character. The 5 columns correspond to the 5 vowels in order a, I, U, E, O. The 10 rows correspond to the vowels, the consonants k, s, t, n, h, m, l, and the semi-vowels y and v. The extra character is the Moraic n, the n. In total, the table has 46 seion in modern Japanese. You'll see that the Gojuuon has some absent kana, which would represent the more yi, ye, ri, u, and re. If you have watched the previous video on Japanese phonology, if you haven't, go watch it right now, you will have noticed that there was no mention of these sounds. Yi and u do not exist. Ye existed, but after a troublesome relationship with E, they merged into what is now the modern E kana. Ri and Re have existed, but were eventually dropped in pronunciation, and they started being pronounced I and E instead. And after the 1946 reforms, after World War II, they disappeared from the Gojuuon too. In modern Japanese, they are preserved only in names and places. The kana wo is commonly pronounced o, but the traditional pronunciation is still widely used. In words, wo kana is extremely rare, and the kana survives only as the object marking particle. K, s, t, and h kana, which are voiceless, can become voiced by adding a small symbol to the top right of the kana, called dakten. These kana, called Dakuon, are the voiced equivalents of k, s, t, and h kana, which would be g, z, d, and b. Yes, here the b phoneme is treated as the voiced version of h, even though it is the voiced equivalent of p, and that's because the h phoneme developed evolving from p. A small circle called Handakuon can be added to the top right of the h kana to change them into p kana. These kana are called Handakuon. As said in the previous video, consonant gemination is signaled using the Sokuon. Gemination can only affect voiceless consonants like k, s, t, and p, but in loanwords there are no such restrictions. There are some exceptions to gemination restrictions in Hiragana, like sugoi, which is a more emphasized version of sugoi. Palatalization affects all the E column kana. For example, this kana is pronounced ki. As we have already seen, vowels a, u, o can also be preceded by a palatalized consonant. Now, this in writing is reflected through the use of Youon, which are smaller ya, yu, and yo kana, akin to the Sokuon, which are placed after the consonant to palatalize. At the phonetic level, the Youon are composed of a semi-consonant, j, and either a, u, and o. This way, the palatalization is caused by the semi-consonant. The consonant to be palatalized must be written with a kana from the e column. Be careful to not confuse Youon with full-size ya, yu, and yo kana, though. The difference in speech is that Youon are part of one mora, for example kyo, whilst full-size ya, yu, and yo form standalone more, so that, for example, the word chiyo is 2 more long. Let's talk about each writing system individually. Hiragana is used for suffixes attached to kanji stems which determine a particular inflection, forcing the kanji to have a specific meaning and a certain reading. These hiragana suffixes are named Okurigana, literally accompanying kana. Hiragana is also used to indicate the reading of obscure kanji, or in children textbooks, even common kanji that have not been learned yet by children, or when the context is insufficient to deduce the reading of a kanji, or when a writer uses a non-standard reading of a kanji, for example in light novels. When doing so, the kana is written above or to the side of the kanji in question. It really depends on the direction of writing. The kana used this way are called Furigana. Hiragana is also used for grammatical particles and auxiliary verbs, the ancillary parts of speech. On this note, when used as particles, the ha and he kana are read wa and e. Some words are usually written out in hiragana to give them a more informal tone. Writing them out in kanji would make them more formal. One such word is kawaii. Katakana is used for transliterations of foreign words and names, names of animals, plants, scientific or technical terms, words that have a rare kanji, company names, onomatopoeias, putting emphasis on a word that would otherwise not be written in katakana, writing out the pronunciation of Sino-Japanese words, which are words of Chinese origin imported over the centuries into Japan. Since one of katakana's uses is to transliterate foreign words, there's a plethora of phonemes and more unique to it. Because these sounds are foreign to Japanese phonology, most of them are not pronounced correctly. U plus I, E, O, Hiragana are pronounced we, we, and wo. U with a Dakuon is pronounced v. U with a Dakuon plus a, I, E, O, Hiragana are pronounced va, vi, ve, vo. Hu with a, I, E, O, Hiragana are pronounced fa, fi, fe, fo. Shi or ji plus e Hiragana is pronounced she or je. Chi plus e Hiragana is pronounced che. To or do plus u Hiragana is pronounced tu or du. Te or de plus I Hiragana is pronounced ti or di. Te or de plus u Hiragana is pronounced tu or du. Tsu plus a, I, E, O Hiragana is pronounced tsa, tsi, tse, tso. On the topic of long vowels, they are handled differently in both hiragana and katakana. In hiragana, the vowel to lengthen is simply repeated. In katakana, the same applies, but for long words, a symbol called the chompu is used after the vowel. And that was it.